that which takes place in between the before and the after. This is the interlude. We had a wonderful message this morning from Pastor Susan on discipleship and following Christ, what it means to serve. And this weekend, of course, we are honoring all those who served our great country, our veterans. And so this morning we get to talk to some of our veterans, starting with Jim. Come on in here, Jim. Good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm fine, Pastor. Thank you.
Blessed Veterans Weekend to you. Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now tell us about what part of the military you served in.
I was in the Air Force way back when, and they just had their first plane about that time, so I was part of the Air Force, and I served in 4 years, and was in. I worked in SAC for about 2 years, and then I was in Vietnam for a year, and then I came back, and I was in a training base for the last year.
Now, do you remember how you were first enlisted?
I enlisted before there was a draft.
Okay, so that was your choice.
Yes.
Very good, Jim. God bless you for that. Now tell us about this incredible ministry that is developed out of your service. First, your service to the country, and now your service to the church, honoring those who serve the country through our veterans ministry.
Well, we have just started our 6th year of this ministry. We had our breakfast yesterday. We had a record number of people there. We had 162 people. We had a Navy SEAL who spent 20 years in three different SEAL teams, and the growth of this is just unbelievable.
Tell us about the Saturday breakfast that you have. What happens at that breakfast?
Well, we have a program that opens it. We show some videos. We honor all the veterans. We usually have some music, and then we actually eat because it is a breakfast, and then we have a speaker. Like I said, we had our speaker yesterday.
And this occurs about once a month, right?
Once a month, every month, except for summer, and we do not have one in December.
And do you have to be a veteran to attend?
Absolutely not. No, we invite veterans, their spouses, their family, and anyone that supports veterans.
Very good. Well, thank you, Jim. God bless you. God bless your service, and thank you for all that you do, including your special ministry that you have out of this.
Well, thank you, Pastor.
All right, we're going to meet some more veterans here this morning, all a part of our church here. Come on in here. This is our online audience. Introduce yourself for everybody.
Hi, I'm John Lehman.
John, which branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army.
Tell us about that experience. What was it like being in the Army?
Well, it was kind of scary when I first got into the service. I knew I was in trouble when we got on the bus at Fort Ord, and the sergeant said, "Okay, all you guys, come on out of that bus." And I was going, "Oh, I'm in a different world now."
So right away from the very beginning, you knew this was something different.
Yes, very much so, yeah.
Tell us about how you were enlisted.
I was drafted. I was going to a college called Multnomah Community College in Portland, and I took one less hour than was required. And I kind of think it was meant to be because I just was paying attention, and that shouldn't have happened, but it did. So I think God wanted me to go and learn something.
Now, where in the world did this experience take you?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. Tell us about Vietnam.
Vietnam, the thing I most described Vietnam was I was a frontline soldier getting shot at like 4 or 5 times a week. So I was scared the whole time. I mean, I know I was carrying a rosary and I was praying and I was going to the church services they brought out in the field, but I was still scared. And it was an experience that I learned a lot of things about the cultures, and I think young people today need to learn about the cultures around the world instead of being committed to their own self.
Very good. John, you wear a special honor on your chest here. Tell us what that is over your heart.
This is a badge that was made up by some of the guys when they got back from Vietnam because 99% of us were sprayed with Agent Orange. Agent Orange is a very invasive chemical, causes damage to the body in ways I can't even describe. cancers, prostate cancer, lung problems, heart problems, problems with birth defects up to the second generation of your family. So so we wanted to acknowledge the people who were in Vietnam. So that's why this guy brought this together. So I wear it proudly.
Thanks be to God. Thank you for your service, and thank you for all that you do here for the church. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Let's see who's next here. Good morning to you. Come on in here. Say hello to our online audience. Introduce yourself for us.
Good morning. I'm Master Sergeant Retired Diana Noyes.
So good to see you this morning. Thank you for your service. Now, tell us about your experience in the military.
I enlisted in 1980. A friend convinced me it was a good way to pay for college, and so I enlisted. I went away, did my basic training, then I went back and became part of command and control out of Wichita, Kansas.
Very good. And did you spend all your time there in Wichita, or did you go other places?
No, I was hands-on training coordinator for all of Kansas and Nebraska.
Very good. Now tell us what it's like to know that you have served your country in that way.
It's a pleasure to have committed my life for 20 years to the United States and my country.
And I know that through service there's a lot of sacrifice involved. Tell us about that sacrifice from your perspective.
I was willing to work a full-time job Monday through Friday, and every single weekend head off to some other place in Kansas or Nebraska, at least until I moved to Arizona, and work with the green machine.
Yeah. Well, God bless you. Thank you for your service. Appreciate all that you do here and for your service at the church here.
Thank you.
God bless you. Here we go. We have another gentleman here. Good morning. Introduce yourself to our online audience, please.
Good morning. I'm Howard Pels. I joined the Army in July of 1967 at the height of the Vietnam War. After playing cat and mouse with my draft board for about a year and a half, when they wanted me a lot worse than I wanted to go.
Tell me, before you were actually drafted in, about that little, you call it cat and mouse there, what were you feeling at that time before actually entering into the service?
Obviously nervous. As I said, it was the height of the Vietnam War. I had a brother at the time who was in Vietnam in the Marines, so I had an idea from him what was going on. The program I was in college was a 5-year program, and the draft board seemed to have a hard time understanding that even though I was taking full-time credits, it was going to take me an additional year to complete my degree. Fortunately, we worked out a compromise. They waited, and then they took me.
And then once you got into the service in those initial days, what were you feeling at that time? Where did you understand your place to be in that?
I understood my place to be about as low on the totem pole as you can possibly be. Private E1. Anybody who's gone into the service and gone into basic training understands that you do what you're told, when you're told to, and don't get out of line.
So where all in the world did your service take you?
Well, I initially went to Fort Dix, New Jersey, and took my training, basic training in AIT there. Then, because I had learned how to type in high school, I was able to secure a position as a company clerk with a training company at Fort Dix. And if any of you have ever seen MASH and seen the character of Radar O'Reilly, you'll know exactly what my job was, although we didn't have the hijinks and Hollywood effects that they did. After some time there, the Army in its wisdom shipped me to Germany and assigned me to the 4th Armored Division. And at that time, I was a clerk in the General's headquarters. And I have the distinction of being one of the few soldiers who served in an armor unit, never saw a tank.
Wow. Howard, I certainly consider you a man of faith. You are very dedicated to the life of the church today. I'm curious, was that faith present there in your younger years, in your time of service, or did that come later on?
I would have to be honest and say it came later on. Like many youths, I was distracted by all of the goings on and just being young and getting kind of crazy at times.
Yeah. And I'm sure that experience, though, taught you about service. And I can say that confidently because I see your life today. You are a great man of service in your own community with your own neighborhood. I know you do things there, which I'll want to hear about. You do things here at the church. You are involved in the choir. Tell us about some of the ways that you serve today.
Well, you mentioned the community service. I've been a member of the board of directors of two homeowners associations where I live in McCormick Ranch. In one case for 18 years, and in another case they asked me to serve on a committee for 3 years, and that was 8 years ago. So once you get on, you never get off.
Very good. And your life with the choir as well.
It's been an interesting journey. I hadn't sung with an organized group since high school until about a year and a half ago. Some of the choir members convinced me that I should join them. I guess they had heard me singing at some of the Wednesday night services during Lent and Advent, and said, "We think you belong in choir." So I took the step.
I want you to offer one more thing to our audience here, Howard. This morning, now that you are solidly a man of faith, you have the years to reflect on, the life well lived to reflect on. For those men and women that are going into the service now, the young men and women, what advice could you offer to them?
I would say join for the right reasons. Join to serve your country. Join to serve your fellow citizens, and join to uphold the honor of your family, your parents, and your community. And I think if you do that, you will also then serve you, and you will also serve God by fulfilling your commitment.
Amen. Howard Pals, thank you very much. Appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you all. This has been The Interlude.